Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that be linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Of course, ahead of the big game, Mikel Arteta was asked about transfers inevitably in his press conference and gave one of his usual standard answers to the transfers. Let me just give you his quote. He said, when something in the market that we can afford and believe is going to have a real impact on the team, we have to be open to that possibility. But at the moment, the focus is on what we have. Now, he's bound to say all those things. Even if he is looking at bringing in a player, he's not going to make it obvious to everybody immediately. As we know, the price goes up. But there was a big rumour flying around yesterday all around Matheus Cunha of Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, he's been one of the players that's been really lighting up the Premier League this season. 10 goals and 4 assists. And if you watched any of Wolves games, despite how poor they've been, he has been the shining light. Suspended for 2 games now after his antics following one of their defeats. But since the new manager's come in at Wolves, he in particular has impressed. And a lot of clubs are interested in signing him. Now, the ITK, Team News and Ticks yesterday, claiming that he's the player that Arsenal are very interested in signing this January transfer window. There's also been claims that Arsenal are close to agreeing terms with the player. However, Wolverhampton Wanderers desperately trying to keep Cunha. Obviously, they've been in relegation problems this season. Yes, they've had a couple of good results, drawing with Tottenham, beating Manchester United over his last couple of games. But if they are to stay in the league, surely he's an important player for them to keep. Indeed, at the moment, it said, according to the journalist Sammy Mockbell, that Wolves are trying to fend off interest from Arsenal by offering Cunha a brand new contract, which may include a possible release clause. This is the problem you have when you're trying to sign players in January, even from a team that's, down near the bottom, won't be able to pay the same sort of wages that you'll be able to pay. They'll be desperately trying to keep hold of that player because the price of going down, where you can lose up to £100 million and struggle to ever get back up into the Premier League again, far outweighs the price of, say, selling a Matheus Cunha right now for a 50, 60 million pounds to Arsenal. So I feel this would be a really difficult deal for Arsenal to get done in January. Maybe this is a good deal for the summer, but January is going to be really difficult. It'll be an exciting signing, but is it what Arsenal wants? Even though he's really kind of a centre forward, when you watch him play, he's again another one of these sort of players that comes from everywhere. He comes from deep, very similar to Jesus, the way in which he plays. Can play right wing, can play left wing, sometimes seems more like an attacking midfielder. We all want to see an out-and-out striker in the box. However, I don't think there'd be any Arsenal fan against a signing like Matheus Cunha because he is a really, really good player, the Brazilian. Another player that's interesting, Arsenal, according to the rumours, is Mohammed Kudus of West Ham United. Now, another player that when you watch him play in the Premier League, you're like, this guy, he can play at the very highest level. It was a real shock when Arsenal didn't move for him in the first place. Only around about £35 million he moved to West Ham for from Ajax. Has been a very good player for West Ham, despite, again, a team that's been struggling. Football Insider claiming that Arsenal are interested in signing him, especially with Saka missing. He would be the ideal Saka replacement. However, again, West Ham struggling and not going to want to let Kudus go. £85 million is said to be the release clause, which is rumoured. And I remember speaking to somebody who's an agent who said that, there are little complications around his deal with West Ham, which would allow him to leave. And I'm sure he's talking about the release clause there. 3 goals and 1 assist this season. Again, doable if you go and meet that release clause. Is Kudus worth £85 million? For a backup player to Saka, because of the minute Saka's back to full fitness, Kudus wouldn't be the starter. £85 million for a player that might play backup. I'm not sure about this one. as much as I think he's a top quality player, would Arsenal go and put a massive outlay like that out for him? It's, again, one to look at. I'd love it if he came in, but I don't know, man. In January as well, when you consider West Ham going to be without Bowen now, Jared Bowen, he's got an ankle injury. He's going to be out possibly for a couple of months. They're already without Mikel Antonio. Do they want to lose a Kudus as well? Same sort of situation. Get yourself into a relegation dogfight, missing your best players, and then risk going down. I just don't see it. Maybe the summer. A player that Arsenal are also interested in is an Italian player called Mateo Retegui. Now, Retegui plays for Atalanta. Has really been having a great season over there for them, the centre forward. 14 goals in 25 games, including 12 in Serie A. And he's really been blazing a trail in that league, and Arsenal showing interest in him. Tutto Mercato Web, the Italian publication, they state that Arsenal are showing major interest in signing him and could even put in a bid of around about £45 million for his signature. Big problem is at the moment he's out with a hamstring injury. Would Arsenal, we want to bring in another player who's got a hamstring injury? Really got Saka out. Any player that Arsenal are going to bring in surely needs to hit the ground running immediately to have an impact. As Mikel Arteta said, somebody's going to come in and have an impact. You don't want a player, even though he looks like he's coming back, a player recovering from that. You want someone who, bang, straight in, does a job for Arsenal. But again, one to keep an eye on this January transfer window. Another player is Enzo Millot, should I say, of Stuttgart. Now, another guy who's been having a really, really good season. 22 years of age, French, played for France in the Olympics and was really impressive then. An attacking midfielder, valued at around about £40 million. Now, Arsenal and Tottenham, two teams that are showing a lot of interest in him, according to Court Offside. As I said, been having a really good season for Stuttgart. Really is that sort of player, controlling the midfield for them. But again, an attacking midfielder, is that what Arsenal need? We've got Martin Odegaard, you've got Ethan Nwaneri who's been coming in there, stacked with midfielders, really. Is this the position that Arsenal really need right now? I'd be more saying it's a player that they're looking at more for the summer. You're going to get a lot of this. You're going to get a lot of players that Arsenal are showing an interest in, for definite, and making inquiries about, because you can talk to players in the January transfer window, but more focused upon possible summer moves rather than January moves. But they get picked up by the media, who then say, listen, Arsenal's showing an interest, the agent has said blah, blah, blah. But is it for now or is it for the summer? And I know all of you guys out there, you're only interested in now. But Milo, a player that they're looking at, would cost a lot of money, valued at around about £40 million. Now, of course, Arsenal playing Brighton, so I knew this rumour was going to start bubbling up again. Evan Ferguson from Brighton being linked with a move to Arsenal. Another player who's injured at the moment, by the way, has had a really poor injury record over the years. Is it a player that Arsenal will want to bring in right now? Remember, about a year ago, he was being talked about as being valued at around about 90 million. Now, all of a sudden, his valuation is around about 40 million. And you do well to get even that for him. Still young, though. Still only 19. Bags and bags of potential. And it does look like Brighton might send him out on loan this January transfer window. A lot of that to do with probably trying to get his value up. He's not starting for them. He's not playing on a regular basis for them. And he is a player that they see of real value in the future. But he's got to be playing games. If you're not playing games, your value drops. Nobody sees you playing. Nobody sees you scoring goals. The interest wanes. So it is possible that he could go out on loan this January. I'm just not sure if Arsenal would be the destination where he'd come. Again, he wouldn't hit the ground running at Arsenal. He'd be on the bench. So, but let's see. And then there's William Saliba, of course, one of our star players at Arsenal. Loved player, an absolute fixture in this Arsenal team. Has played every game for Arsenal this season in the Premier League. Real Madrid interested in him. We've heard these rumours from the summer. Real Madrid at the moment, suffering in the centre-back position. they're showing a lot of interest in him. There's been these rumours that they've reached out to his representatives to explore if there's anything in this. There are some rumours that the representatives have gone back with positive news for them. However, I feel that, William Saliba's not going anywhere. Arsenal got him tied down to a long contract until 2027. So still a little way to go on that. They will probably be wanting to be sitting down with him at the end of the season to try and negotiate a new contract to extend that. He's still only 23, and for me, definitely one of the best centre-backs in the world right now, especially at his age. But Arsenal will not want to let William Saliba go. A very, very important player in this Arsenal team. And he's said to be very happy at Arsenal as well. But he's going to be one that, listen, no chance in January. In the summer, could get interesting if Arsenal don't win something. This is why it's very, very important that Arsenal win something this season. Very, very important for me. Go out and strengthen Mikel Arteta in this January transfer window. Give us a good chance of winning something, because these type of players, Saliba, Gabriel, Saka, right? They're going to start coming under big threats, right? If we don't start winning things, and that is for sure. Thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget, we're here every day of the January transfer window with Transfer Daily, so make sure you check it out. If you missed any of the other shows, they're all there. Join it on a playlist and catch up with every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.